If you want to grab our men's lifestyle supplement and male advantage ebook, all links are in the bio. Testosterone is actually higher in the mornings, significantly higher. So if you train in the morning, you're going to get superior results. You know, the higher your testosterone is, the better your gym results are going to be. Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be talking about why you should always work out in the mornings and why that's the best time of day to do it. Now it's actually going to have backed up evidence, but it's also something that I've done my entire life. I've always trained in the mornings. I very much prefer it, and I'll show you why as we go through these 3 points that I've laid out. But I also like the fact that, you know, you're waking up in the morning, it's the first thing you do, you're dedicated to your self-improvement calls straight out of the blocks. You know, you're in that gym, even if you've got a 9-to-5 job, which I used to, you're in the gym at 5-6 a.m. and you've got an hour of kind of tranquility before, I know you might have music playing, etc., but before the world wakes up, before things get going, you've got that hour of free spare time. You know, it is very much free time. It's just a free hit. It's not like you've got to rush back or you're not time restrained. You know, if you're in that gym at 5, even if it takes an extra 10 minutes to finish off your squats or deadlifts, whatever, or your cardio at the end, you can do that and you'll still have time. You're ahead of the game. I think it gives you a bit of peace of mind up here at the start of the day. But that's my opinion, that's my bias, and I don't want that to be the purpose of the video. So the 3 points, let's start with number one. Number one is that it gets shit done. It puts you ahead of the game, as I said. It's a great start to the day, okay? You tick that box. So many people will say, they'll wake up and they'll be like, oh, I'll train later. I'm going to train at 8. I'm going to train at 9. I'm going to train tonight. I'm going to train at lunch. As the day goes on and you get more and more tired, that enthusiasm and willpower starts to drop. And let's say it's winter, it's a cold night. After work, you're knackered, you've had a bad day, and then you're like, I've got to go to the gym now, but you know, it's Friday, ideally I've had a long week, I just want to go home, I just want to relax and put my feet up, I'm too tired, I need a rest day from the gym. You didn't feel like that in the morning, you would have trained. Okay, but by doing it later in the day, what you're doing is prioritizing other things. And that's why a lot of people like Donald Trump, for example, says he doesn't train, he doesn't do fitness. He says that it drains a lot of his energy and then he can't use that for other things. But as a man, we're not President of the United States. As a man that's dedicated to fitness, success, you know, not on the scale that he's got it at the moment, you know, he's got a lot of shit going on, obviously. I think we can prioritize it as one of the first things we do. And by doing it later at night, what you're saying is I prioritize my 9-to-5 job over my workouts, over my fitness, over everything that I'm trying to achieve in my life. And especially for a 9-to-5 job, fuck the 9-to-5 job compared to who you're trying to be or what you want to become, unless that 9-to-5 job is actually who you want to be and what you want to become. But I think it's a good idea to get in that gym first, use that energy for an hour, and then if you're getting tired at work at like 3 p.m., it's work. It doesn't really matter. Do you know what I mean? And then when you get home, you can go to bed 2-3 hours earlier than you thought you would have on that Friday. But if you try and do it in reverse, by the time you get to 5-6 o'clock after work, you're really tired, you don't want to hit the gym, so you don't, and you skip the session. Your mind tells you it's a good rest day because I was really tired, I'll go to the gym tomorrow. And you might get up on the Saturday and go in the morning, but I feel like this happens too often. You end up taking the Monday off, and then on the Wednesday you say, I'll go after work, and you force yourself to do it, and then you take the Thursday off because you're like, well, I forced myself yesterday, I'm extra tired today. And then you say, okay, I'll do it again tomorrow on Friday. I'm going to go to the gym on Friday. But then you find you're knackered. You go through that pattern that I just spoke about. And then on Sunday, you want to go at night. But you're like, well, I've got work tomorrow. You've ended up having 4 rest days. Whereas when you do it in the morning, I feel like you wake up full of energy. You tick that box. You get it done. You got nothing else to worry about. You can knock out your 5-6 days a week in the gym for a full hour too. I feel like sometimes when you do it at night, you're rushing. You're like, oh, it's getting late. I've been in here, 40 minutes now? That's enough. I'm going to go home. Whereas when you do it in the morning, you do your full hour. You've got the time. If you wake up early enough and you knock that hour fully out. Now, point 2 is testosterone. Now, a lot of people know that, and if you don't, here's news to you. Testosterone is actually higher in the mornings, significantly higher. So if you train in the morning, you're going to get superior results. The higher your testosterone is, the better your gym results are going to be. Now, there's other data which says that strength is better at night, which again can improve results. But the benefit of having high testosterone in the morning and then training is that your testosterone is going to stay high throughout the whole day. And I think this is great for living in the modern world. A lot of us are working in offices. We might have a sugary coffee. We shouldn't, but sugary coffee in the office to get us going. Maybe you need that energy release in the morning or throughout the day. Well, by training in the morning and boosting your testosterone, that will stay high throughout the day. And even when you're sat at your desk, it's going to drop somewhat, but you're still going to have that testosterone boost, especially if you train legs in the morning. I think that's a giant advantage. And I saw data before that said that if you're sat at your desk all day long and then you train afterwards, it doesn't have the same effect on your body. The dampening effect of testosterone from sitting at your desk all day in the modern world, that 1 hour of training in the gym after work doesn't compensate. Whereas if you train in the morning while you're sat at your desk, that testosterone is still high. It's going to have a much greater effect, because then it's throughout the day while you're sat there. It's compensating in another manner. But when you do work first and you're sat there all day looking at a screen and that testosterone is very, very low, and then you spike it and then you go to bed, it doesn't quite work the same. Whereas when you spike it in the morning and then it's able to just fall slowly and then stay high throughout the day, it works a lot better. Okay, so that's a major benefit there, is that testosterone's higher in the morning. When you train in the morning, when it's high, you get better results, and that testosterone stays high throughout the day. It's the perfect way to keep your testosterone levels high all the time. And you think about that, guys. You go into the workplace with high testosterone. I know from sales experience, it makes you feel amazing. If I ever did a record deadlift or a leg day where I did a ton of squats, when I got on the phones, when I was doing sales when I was younger, I made way more sales. I felt really confident. I used to actually use leg days before a big sales day when I knew that I had 4 or 5 to wrap up. And, I'd put the two together because I knew testosterone would give you a huge boost. And you can use that in your life. That's why I think point 2, train in the morning, testosterone levels. Okay, so point number 3 is to do with calorie deficit and calorie surplus. So if you're training at night, let's say you want a calorie surplus because you're bulking. Let's say you've been eating throughout the day and your calories are at, let's say, around about maintenance level, and you're thinking, okay, this is good, I'm going to train later, so let's have one giant big meal. Let's have one more meal, because when I train, it's going to put me in a calorie surplus, but of only around about 100 or 200 calories, which is enough to gain some decent amount of muscle with a small amount of fat. Okay, you don't want to have a calorie surplus of like 1,000 calories naturally, guys, because you're going to put on too much fat. Okay, it's not going to look good. It's going to somewhat ruin your gains. It's going to make the whole bulk kind of pointless. You want to do it steadily as you want to do, a deficit in the other direction. But okay, that's your strategy. So you're trying to bulk up. You're trying to gain those calories. You think by getting, let's say you like that final meal, you go 400 or 500 over, and then you think when you train it's only going to be 100 or 200. But then your friends call you. So you're about to leave work and you just had your last big meal. You fired it down. Your friends call and say, "Hey, do you want to go out?" Well, yeah, I guess I do. Okay, I'll go out. So then you end up skipping the gym. Okay, and when you're out, you might have a pint, you might eat something else. Okay, that surplus is going up and up. And even if you don't eat, you don't have a pint, whatever, you skip the gym. And you might say, "Oh, I'll go tomorrow," but you just skip the gym. So now your calories are out of sync. And it's the same with a deficit. Okay, so you're eating calories throughout the day. You put yourself, let's say, 200-300 over in a surplus. And you say, right, I'm cutting body fat. So when I hit the gym, I've added up, I'm going to burn about 300-400 calories. It's going to put me 100 under or 200 under, whatever you're aiming for. I'm going to have a small deficit. I'm going to be cutting the body fat. Perfect. Again, it might be Saturday night. You think I'm training an hour. Your friends call. Something pops up. Something comes on TV. A girl messages you and says, "Do you want to come over? Here's a sexy picture of me. Look at me. Do you want to come round?" And you're like, "Oh, damn. Yeah, I'd rather do that than go to the gym." Shit comes up. We're young men. We have so much stuff going on every single day of our lives. You don't know what's going to happen throughout the day. There's so many audibles that will just pop up at 6, 7, 8 at night. That's why you cannot train at night. It just doesn't work right. If you're on a deficit or you're on a surplus, you cannot physically always guarantee that your calories are going to be on point, because you don't know if that gym session is going to get thrown out the window. Now, granted, what you should do is always go to the gym when it's scheduled in. But like I said, you don't know what's going to pop up. You don't know how you're going to feel. So it's going to mess up your calories at some point. Now, okay, you can have it on 1 day or 2 days, but if this keeps happening on a weekly basis, your gym results are just going to get ruined. You know, you're going to be saying, okay, I'm in a calorie deficit. But then 2-3 days a week, you're going out with friends, you're going out for meals, and work colleagues are like, come on. So you're skipping the gym, and you're gaining weight, and then you're losing it, and then you're gaining it. You're just yo-yoing. You're just doing what pretty much every man does in the fitness world. It doesn't stick to one goal, and then just goes, hey, winter's here. I was bulking anyway. I've kind of put on a bit more. I might as well continue it. And then they're fat as fuck, you know, moving forward into the future. And it messed up because they didn't train in the morning. And I guarantee if you move that schedule to the morning and you get that guy to train first thing, doesn't matter what pops up, doesn't matter about all these audibles, he will still be in the correct position because calories are easier to do than the gym. Okay? Let's say if like I said, if you're training at night and then that gets thrown out the window, you can't then be sat at a dinner table with friends and be like, yeah, I'm just getting my bicep curls in with this bottle. You know, you can't do the same. I'm just going to press this chair above my head to compensate. You can't do it. But you can compensate for the food. You could sit at a table and be like, I'm eating nothing. I'm in a calorie deficit. Or you can say, I'm going to eat a little bit more because I need the extra calories now. You know, or you can just scale everything exactly how you want it. It's easier to do with the calories than it is with the fitness. So that's why in the morning, those 3 reasons, you get that box ticked. I know 1 and 2 are similar, but they've got different motives behind them. But number 1, you start your day the right way. You get that box ticked. Number 2, testosterone benefits. Number 3, it's perfect for your calorie deficit and surplus. That's why, for me personally, those 3 reasons is why I always train in the morning as early as possible. I get that box ticked, and then the rest of my day can fall into place. If you want to grab our men's lifestyle supplement and male advantage ebook, all links are in the bio.